Okay, I'd like to call the regular monthly board meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Local School District board meeting for February 13th, 2023. Roll call, Ms. Boyer.
Ms. Cato, here. Mr. Hookrattle.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mr. Shook.
Here.
Dr. Walter.
Here. Everyone, please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Item D is public participation at our board meetings. We give this time for anyone that would like to speak or comment to the board. At this time, do we have anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Could you please stand, state your name, and give us your address, please?
Sure. My name is Taryn Espinez. I'm at 2424 Baltimore Somerset Road.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to speak on the proposed dress code changes, specifically, and I apologize, I'm not a public speaker, so. In the beginning of the proposed change document, it is listed that the purpose of having a dress code is to, 1, limit classroom distractions, 2, practice dress attire for the general workplace, 3, preserve self-discipline and respect, and 4, project a positive image of our student body. This document goes on to list that students will be expected to no longer be able to wear the following items, included but not limited to coats in the classroom. And from my personal experience, not allowing the ability to wear coats or jackets in a classroom could be a classroom distraction. I know they keep the buildings chilly in some cases, and I can't learn when I'm cold. And we try to send sweaters with our children, but you know that doesn't always happen. I know that it said to potentially leave that up to the teacher, but you may have a teacher who won't allow it for whatever reason, and you know I don't want children to not be able to focus on learning because they're cold. Then the other thing I wanted to speak on was the clothing that exposes any skin from the shoulder to the mid-thigh. It is both unrealistic and in some cases incredibly repulsive. Trying to buy shorts that would meet a mid-thigh length on long-legged kids is almost impossible these days. I've tried. My daughter is very long-legged, and it's very difficult to find something of that length. And let's be real, the dress code items are mostly directed at your female members of the student body. They're strictly put in place to both shame female bodies and to excuse inappropriate thoughts, words, and actions by their male counterparts and/or male staff members. It's time that we stop telling girls that their bodies are inappropriate just by existing. As long as private parts, aka items that are covered by a bathing suit, are not being seen, the length of a person's shorts, whether or not their shoulders or arms are showing, should not matter. Continued body shaming, such as the proposed changes and other items currently on the dress code, can lead to having a larger mental health issue within your female student body long term. These issues could be anything from eating disorders, body dysmorphia, depression, and even potentially suicide caused by these things. Having personally been affected by body shaming in the form of being told that some of my clothing items, which were 100% within the dress code, were inappropriate by teachers and administrators in this very school district as I was growing up, I can tell you that even 20 plus later, I'm still affected by it. It still affects my vision of my body and how that works. Because of the way I was naturally built, my body and my clothing were deemed inappropriate. Do we really want to continue to put a negative body image on our girls in the name of projecting a positive image of our student body? Wouldn't this be a detriment to our students' self-respect when they're being told that their self is inappropriate and against dress code? How about we teach our children to respect each other and their individual bodies, no matter how different they all might be? An additional note, I noticed that the leggings and yoga pants were on the proposed changes. Again, coming from a mom of a child who is very long-legged and lanky, not allowing leggings is a huge issue. Finding jeans that fit her both in length and waist is almost impossible. She's getting to the age now where the jeans no longer have the adjustable waists. So it's either they fit her lengthwise or they fit her waist-wise, not both. The only thing that typically fits her is leggings. And again, either this legging rule is in place to shame girls for their natural shapes, which how else would they be considered inappropriate when all private parts are covered unless it's just because they happen to show off the female form, or it is set to shame people who may be larger, which again, we don't want to do that either because we don't want to shame people for their bodies. Aside from that issue, we may have to consider the potential that you'll have neurodivergent students who can't deal with the restrictiveness and texture of denim if faced with not wearing leggings. These students will be so distracted by being uncomfortable in their clothing that they won't be able to focus on their lessons. I just wanted to bring these items up and hope that you consider them when voting on the potential changes.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else? Okay, with no one else wishing to speak, we will move on to item E, which is our refreshments. Once we get back from refreshments, we will continue on with our board meeting. Okay, we are going to resume our meeting. Right now, we're going to move on to item 2, which is department presentations. Mr. Joe Pearden would like to come up and talk to us.
I'm good. Good evening. Thanks for having me. This is gonna be like every other year we do the picture show. This right here was the beginning of our track project, where we started removing all the fence. We had significant dirt work that we had to do on the field, because we knew once the new track was in, we was not gonna be able to do that work on the field. So that's what you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner. Same thing here. The whole home side had significant low spot down through there. This is the wall on the west end that circles around the track. We kind of dressed it up with the Liberty Union Lions in there. It's the same letters that's in the softball wall, so they'll match up. After that concrete cures out, we'll come back and we'll stain the inside of those letters either a black or a red, probably black. Because red likes to fade on us and then turn to pink, so. Oh,
Whoa,
what
I'm
happened?
staying on my head, I don't get hurt.
Yeah, okay. I'm not sure what happened there. Or there. I know exactly what that is. I don't know if anybody heard of the incident we had with folks that was walking in the track. The very first night that they put the rubber coating on. But the one on the left is the footprints with the dog footprints. The one in the middle is the footprints over on the north side. And the one on the right-hand side is where they come in and they cut circles out every one of those footprints and pulled the rubber back out and patched it back in. What did you do to me, man?
Maybe Google Slides, kind of.
This is what we spent most of our summer doing right here. And that was chasing the excavator on the track project. And so he ripped it out, we had to put it back in. So if you think about the irrigation that runs along the south end of the football field, he dug that up in about 4 places to include the control wires and all that kind of good stuff. So the other thing we had to do is we had to move the transformer on the east end so that we had enough room for the track and a walkway to go around through there. Okay, this is the second floor of the high school. We painted both the east and the west wing there. I don't have any idea why those pictures are turned that way, but this is the visitor press box. The first year we had the new bleachers in and the new home side press box. We had some issues because there's no dividing walls in that press box. So when you start putting radio and visiting team, coaches, and all that kind of stuff and on the home side, it became an issue. In addition to that, Janet had issues with concession stand space and trying to disperse food for, to make money. So we decided to build this. It's a 2-story. The bottom half is a concession stand. The top half is the press box for the visiting team. The one on the right, that is the first floor. The one on the left, that's the visitors' press box. And that's the view upside down. What the? Did you do that on purpose? You're messing with me, man.
I think Google Slides just mangled it when converted over.
This right here is the demolition of the old concession stand, the old press box, kind of a mess there. You can't really see, but that bottom picture there shows that we've already started the excavation from the what would be the east end of the Patty George building out towards the main entrance. We've already started that excavation and getting that grade down to where it's supposed to be. Oh my gosh. This is over where the pit is. On the left, we removed all those trees in the pit those trees are no longer there. And that's pretty much all filled in now. So we actually picked up about 1.5 acres of ground there. I don't know what we'll do with it, but it's clear. We can at least keep it mowed back, and, you know, if we want to add and extend the parking lot out at least to the left field corner of the fence, we could, you know, probably pick up another probably 75, 80 parking spaces there. This is on the roof of the elementary school. We've had some issues with this, with it leaking into the library. So we had some guys come in, rip off the old stucco. This is the only thing in the district that was stuccoed, and it had failed. So they pulled it all off, completely batted it, restuccoed it, and as far as I know, we haven't had any leaks yet. So this is the old lights on the front of the auditorium. Something that nobody probably ever pays attention to, but they're kind of architectural pictures of that building. So we took them off. We gutted the insides. We converted them over to LED lights, and then we sandblasted them and painted them up, cleaned them up, put them back on. This here is the skylights in the high school. The elementary just thought they had problems. You can see that these, where there's a seam, these things are kind of shaped like a pyramid. And where the creases are in the pyramid, every one of them is split. We have a project, they're actually supposed to start on Monday. They're going to remove the skylights. We're going to leave the architectural fixture from inside the library. They're going to remove the skylights, frame it in, and then roof over it with the same roof membrane that's on the rest of the high school. We'll come back in later, we'll drywall that. Something I have in my mind, I haven't talked with the high school administration yet, but I think that we should get some students that are really good and paint a sky up in that, and then we'll put some lights, some architectural lights that shine up on it, just so it's not a big hole in the ceiling in the library.
What are you doing to me?
Noah? Is that it? I think that's it. Any questions for me?
Get any ibuprofen? My neck really hurts.
I do. It's in my truck. We had several other projects on the books, but we didn't quite get to them. They're small projects. We're gonna build a pad over by the red barn with those concrete blocks, those huge concrete blocks over there. We'll line it, and that'll be where we dump the brick dust from now on. So it's not sitting up there in the parking lot, just washing down the bank or washing in. It'll keep it out of the dirt, so we're not having stuff grow up in it and wasting $4,000 worth of brick dust every year. We did put, I forget, how many tons of stone did we buy for the land lab? We put a boatload of stone in the land lab this year, and we'll probably be doing the same thing again this year for the same area.
So is the softball field or recreation field out here, is it anytime in the near future?
It's not on my radar right now.
It's not?
We have, this summer, we'll have the new building, hopefully, depending on what happens tonight. We'll have the land lab, finish up the land lab. We have a lot of material back there to build the leadership course in the land lab, like kind of similar to the one that's at the FFA camp. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that one or not. I'm sure the state troopers had something like it. It's like a leadership building course where you'll be in teams of whatever it may be, 10 or whatever, and you got to figure out how to get everybody through the obstacle. Just different scenarios. But no, that's not on my radar. And we have the barn relocation for that. That's what's been on my radar.
I was just asking, I figured we might be able to get another sub if we had that out there. There's a guy that probably come back and sub. Get retired from us. You know,
Okay.
just throwing a little trip down there. We appreciate all you do and all your guys do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Okay, item number 3, discussion and approval of the minutes from January 9th, 2023 board meeting, and that takes us through to page 9. Does anyone have anything in regards to January 9th meeting? Okay. Vote to approve, item B is vote to approve the minutes of that meeting.
So move second.
So moved by Carol Cato, second by Sean Shook, to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education held on January 9th, 2023, as printed. Ms. Boyer, roll call.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Item C, board minutes from January 12th, 2023. Does anyone have any questions in regards to the January 12th special meeting? Okay. With that, nothing being said,
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, Dr. Walter,
Second.
second by Sean Shook, to approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education held on January 12th, 2023, as printed. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Okay, move on to item number 4, which is the monthly financial statements. Ms. Boyer, it's all yours.
Great, we have our monthly financial report. And on page 4 is the actual revenue received through January compared to the prior year. And it is up the local taxes, which is the property and income tax. And of that, most of it is due to our income tax. And then on page 5, down at the bottom, the revenue variance analysis. This fiscal year is 58% completed, which is comprised of 7 actual months and 5 estimated months. And currently, we're projecting 146,116 more than the November forecast. And then on page 8 is our interest. Last year, our interest was coming in at about $550 a month, which equals $6,600 a year. Now it's coming in at about $25,000 a month, which equals $300,000 a year. Hopefully it continues that way, but obviously we can't count on that as a source of revenue, but when it does come in, it's nice. Page 9 is the comparison. As I said, we're at 58% of the year, and the revenue we've actually collected is at 58%. Our expenditures are at 52%, which is still really close. And we still have some big expenditures coming up with the construction. Page 10 is the revenue from our income tax. It's up from last year by $446,210 compared to the same time period last year. That's comprised of first quarter was up $251,000. Second quarter was up a little over $123,000, and third quarter, this quarter was up over $72,000. Then we have our bank reconciliation. And then we have our bills we pay. On page 3, down at the bottom, check 99862 to Perry and Associates for $12,720. That was our first payment for the audit, for our regular audit, and that came from the general fund. The balance that we'll owe is only $3,180, so that almost takes care of it. Then on page 6, down towards the bottom, check 99936 to Shy International for $64,150. It was for 250 Chromebooks for the elementary school, and that came from the ESSER 2 grant. Then on page 7 at the top, 99940 to Shore Architects for $27,825. That was for architect services for the concession and locker rooms, and that came from the general fund. And then on page 9, in the middle, check 10,006 to KTLB LLC for $23,479.50. That was payment for the Philadelphia trip, and that came from the 8th grade Washington, D.C. fund. Then you have our changes and appropriations to the 018, 200s, and 300s. Then you have donations. $483 from Columbus Vision Associates to help pay outstanding lunch balances to the lunchroom. $68.60 from Box Tops for Education, General Mills to the middle school library. $600 from LU Athletic Boosters to baseball. There was $1,500 that came from LU Athletic Boosters for worker payouts at $500 each to volleyball, girls soccer, and football. $300 from Debbie Miller in memory of Steve Miller to baseball. $600 miscellaneous donations of $100 or less to High School Musical. $120 from Alan and Rebecca Hubbard to High School Musical. $250 Alice Wolf to High School Musical. $250 Get Air Pickerington LLC to High School Musical. $50 from Cheryl and John Powell in memory of Brock Marshall to FFA. $100 from Jack and Mary Turley in memory of Brock Marshall to FFA. $1,980 from the VFW Post 3761 to the 8th grade Philadelphia trip. $50 from the Blackballed Giving Fund Alliance Data Systems to the middle school principal. $400 School Pulse Panel from the U.S. Census Bureau. It's a gift card to the high school principal. And that's all I've got.
Any questions for Ms. Boyer? Okay, we'll move on to item E, vote to approve the monthly financial statement. We'll have a motion.
Second.
Motion by Carol Cato, second by Mr. Hookrattle, to approve the monthly financial statements as printed above. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shook,
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Ms. Cato. Yes. Mr. Hookrattle.
Yes.
Okay, move on to item 5, new business financial. Item A is permanent appropriation adjustments for fiscal year 2023. And Ms. Boyer gave you a copy of that document. Does anyone have any questions in regards to that document? Move on to item B, resolution accepting amounts and rates as determined by the Fairfield County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. And that, down through there, I won't read through that entire thing, but you guys can look at that and read that. That moves us to page 14, which is item C, resolution for the locker room concession building project, authorizing the initiation of the procurement process for the locker room concession building project. The superintendent requests authority to move forward with the locker room and concession building project. And then there's a background there that has some other verbiage in there as well. Item D, service providers. Minds on Math LLC for the 2022-2023 school year. Service provided, Phase 2, professional development and instructional coaching, fee of $10,000. Service provider, Perry and Associates, CPAs. The contract period is July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Service provided, extension of existing agreement to provide audit services. And then it breaks it down by year there, 2023, 2024, and 2025, all at $18,750.
That contract period isn't correct.
It is not.
No, it'd be July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2026.
Okay. The next item in there is Air Force One in lieu of 3 quotes to be determined due to equipment availability. To this service provided will be to repair the chillers at the elementary school and the high school. The cost at the elementary school is $31,971.97. The cost at the high school is $47,657. Service provider, School Insurance Consultants LLC for the period of 2023-2024. The service provided consulting agreement for a total cost of $4,500. The next one is OSHA membership. The period will be 2022-2023 school year. Is for the annual membership at $750 for 15 high school sports. The next will be Walsworth yearbooks for the period of 2023-2024 school year. Printing for high school yearbooks at a cost of $9,400. And then with that same company, the same time period, it'll be for the middle school yearbooks at a cost of $2,834. And then finally, the Fairfield Medical Center for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2023. The service provided would be 2023 alcohol and drug testing. You have the DOT test, which is a cost of $49.88, breath test of $35, on-site collection of $25, and third-party administrator of $75. Item E, in lieu of transportation costs for the 2022-2023 school year. By resolution of the Liberty Union-Thurston Board of Education, it is declared impractical and unreasonable unreasonable financial burden to provide student transportation by school bus to provide and to private and parochial schools outside of the Liberty Union-Thurston School District. The board authorizes the treasurer to provide in lieu of payment to the parent or guardian of students attending these entities for the 2022-2023 school year. The parent guardian must make application for such reimbursement with the treasurer on an annual basis in order to receive payment. The amount of payment is established by the Ohio Department of Education. Recommend approval. And the parent listed on here is Amy Barton. The student's name is Lydia Joy Barton. School attending is Fairfield Christian, and the grade of the student is 9th grade. Any questions in that section? Okay, we'll move on to vote to approve the new business financial. Do I have
So
a
moved.
motion by Sean Shook, second by Phil Cato to approve the items in the new business financial section? Ms. Boyd?
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes. Item number 6, new business personnel. We have resignation. We have Shelley Byers, 3rd grade at the elementary school, purposes for retirement. And we have a revised date of May 31st, 2023 in place of August 1st of 2023. Cindy Congrove, secretary at the elementary school, resignation, effective February 24th of 2023. And Trent Osborne, social studies, teacher at the high school, retirement. And we have a revised date of January 13th of 2023 in place of August 1st of 2023. Classified substitution list, which is item B. We have Heather Haynes Hoover. Item C, certified substitutes. The superintendent requests board approval for the list of certified substitutes from the Fairfield County Education Service Center. Mr. James Hughes and Mrs. Danielle Toll. Item B, vote to approve minutes and the new business personnel. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Dr. Walter, second by Sean Hookrattle, to approve the items in the new business personnel section. Ms. Boyd?
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Item 7, new business athletics. We have coaches here to approve. These are all spring sports coaches. Natalie Cheney, middle school boys track coach, level 4, step 0. Elise Looney, softball JV coach, level 3, step 0. Elena Miller, middle school girls track volunteer, $500 per salary agreement with Renee Manget. Joe Palmer, middle school girls track volunteer, $750 per salary agreement with Renee Manget. John Putnam, baseball varsity assistant coach, level 3, step 2. And finally, Daniel Shirey, 8th grade softball volunteer. Have any questions or comments in that section? Okay, we'll move on to vote to approve the new business athletics. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sean Shook, second by John Walter, to approve items in the new business athletics section. Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Abstain.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Item 8, new business other, disposals. We have item number 1, New Holland tractor, model 3010, two-wheel drive, serial number 702-826, M as in Mary. Miscellaneous information here, tractor was used for snow removal, salt spreading, but has mechanical issues and hasn't been used in 8 years. Will be sold to person making the highest offer. Item number 2 is an acoustical shell system, one system, and it's going to be disposed for salvage value. Item B in that section is student dress code. Dr. Johnson, is there anything with that I need to, ask the board to comment on, or is there anything that you want to bring up in that regard?
Well, it's here for third reading,
Okay.
and I think that it's here for a reason, and you might want to
Yeah, so-
board members if they want to make a comment.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, I know last time we met, it went to a third reading because there were things particularly in here that I called out that I still see in here. So my curiosity is it my understanding then that the group got back together, talked about everything, and has since made the recommendation for everything to stay as is? Because that's why it reached a third reading, is because I said I don't like leggings on here. There's a lot of things I didn't like. So I'm just assuming, my general assumption is that everybody went back, they met, they had a great conversation, they all agreed.
We took all that stuff.
It's right here. It says no leggings or yoga pants.
Still on there.
Still on here.
Okay.
Attachment got attached.
He called us and took this, all that stuff.
We'll have a fourth reading.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's still here. Okay.
Yep. Carla.
Nope, that's okay.
Okay, so
So we'll just have to remove.
remove that item from,
Yes.
item B would be removed from section 8. And we'll bring it back for a fourth reading. Okay, move on to item C in that section, vote to approve new business other.
So moved.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Sean Shook, second by Carol Cato, to approve items in the new business other section. Ms. Boyd?
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Item number 9, other matters as may properly come before the board. Does anyone have anything? Okay. With nothing else in that section, we'll move on to item 10, which is executive session. An executive session is requested by the superintendent. Item A in that, vote to enter the executive session, but before that, Dr. Johnson, what items or what should we notate to say?
I think it's still appropriate to discuss negotiations D, kind of feedback on that, and E matters that need to be confidential,
Okay,
because I think we're gonna be perhaps mentioning names, and we'll make sure that.
so item D and item E will be the reasoning for the executive session. We want to move on to vote to enter into executive session. Do I have a motion?
Second.
So moved by Sean Shook, second by Sean Hookrattle, to go into executive session for the reasons stated above at 7:44 PM. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Shook,
Yes.
Dr. Walter,
Yes.
Ms. Gator,
Yes.
Ms.